Hey guys and gals, hope everyone's doing well. So I wanted to share with you the next mod upgrade that I'm going to be doing to my vehicle. It's been a while, but this one is one that I've been wanting to do for a while, and there was a point where I didn't think that I would be able to do this. It was a feature that I wished had come with the car, and it was an option that was available when ordering this car new, but unfortunately when I found this car, it was not an option that was included, and that is multifunction controls on the steering wheel. So I'm going to take you into the car for a second just to see what we're working with here. This here is a Porsche 991.2 Carrera C2S. And as you can see, I have a manual transmission and the sport package, which includes, among other things, the sport steering wheel. This particular sport steering wheel, as you can see, just has these hollowed out parts there on the steering wheel where it could have been optioned to contain multifunction controls to answer the phone, control the radio, and things like that. And really, it would have made sense to have had it optioned that way, especially with a manual transmission car, because you've already got to have your hands off the wheel, or one hand off the wheel to change gears. And so it would have been nice to have multifunction control on the steering wheel. Well, originally, as I was looking into this, it didn't seem like it was something that was possible to do. But one of my Porsche buddies that I met through Renlist has a 991.2 Carrera T, and he actually did this modification, and it was, it seemed to be a fairly straightforward DIY, although it did require him to go to the dealer to have it reprogrammed. We, in talking to him, we think that I might be able to do it. Possibly it may not need reprogramming. We will see, but I did have to source some parts from eBay, and I'm going to show you what those parts are now. And, I want to just caution you that there are different parts that are needed for this modification depending on the type of vehicle you have or the current setup that you have. So if you have, for instance, a steering wheel that has heating, or if you have a car that is not equipped with Sport Chrono, you may need slightly different parts. But I'm going to take you over here to what we've got. And these are the parts that I ordered from eBay. Found these. This particular piece here came off of a 991.2 GT2 RS. Now, unfortunately, just by placing these parts in my car, it won't give it the performance of a GT2 RS, but I can indeed get the multifunction controls. And so what I would be doing would be, what I will be doing is removing these inserts here, these black inserts, and placing them, I have to remove this steering wheel obviously, and I will be replacing these silver inserts with those. That should be the easy part. I won't be replacing the Sport Chrono part because this came off of a PDK, and you can tell it's a PDK because it has that button there, minus stick shift. But what I'm told is a key part here is this controller. And you have to be mindful of that, because I think this controller pertains to a vehicle that did not have a heated steering wheel and was very close to what mine is, with the exception of it being the vehicle that this came off of was PDK and mine is stick shift. But I'm told that this control module, which is one of the key components of this modification, is the same whether it's for a stick or PDK. And I'll just read you the number in case you can't see it right there. I'm going to try to zoom in on it, but the number is at the top 95B.959.256.F. Again, that's 95B.959.256.F. I think I'm reading that correctly. I think that's a B. Anyways, the other parts that you need to do this modification correctly are the rear pieces because these rear pieces that go behind the steering wheel correspond to these multifunction controls. And so you can see these will go on the steering wheel when we remove it. And I only needed to get the ones for the upper pieces because I already have for the lower in my car already. The rear piece for this doesn't change. And then lastly is the wiring harness. Now, my buddy who has done this modification to his vehicle, and he's done some really cool modifications to his vehicle and is very knowledgeable about this, said he doesn't think that I'm going to need this, and but the eBay seller that sold this to me thinks that I'm going to need it. So we will see when we get to that part of the modification. Hopefully I don't need it, and you know, this will be a simple plug and play, and perhaps not even need to be reprogrammed by the dealer. But if it does, I'll have it ready, and we'll go from there. And I think that's about it for right now. I'm going to begin by disassembling these black inserts with the controls out of here, have them ready. We're going to go visit my friend, and we're going to try to knock this job out. He says that we could probably do it in about an hour or so. It seems pretty straightforward, simply removing the steering wheel, replacing those parts, plugging in the wires, and then hopefully everything just works. And in the worst case scenario, I may have to make a separate trip to the dealer to have it programmed, and obviously we'll see how that goes as this video progresses. So anyways, stay tuned. Hope to have this next phase of the video done soon, and until then, take care everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. All right, so I'm really excited about this because we just finished doing the installation, but before we get into the installation part of this video, first of all, this turned out not to be so much of a do-it-yourself video as have a friend that has expert knowledge do it for you and let you assist, which is what happened with me. My good friend Ray, who you're going to see doing a lot of the work in this installation, was kind enough to offer to help me do it, as he's done this very exact same mod to his 911. So he had expert familiarity with doing this installation and was very comfortable with it. So essentially I got to kind of watch and help him turn a few screws, which even that I made a couple little mistakes, but it's a real straightforward do-it-yourself video and you're going to enjoy it. The other thing I want to let you know is there's a couple of things that you're going to want to stay through to the end for, and one of those is in the end he goes into a little bit of a explanation as to what is happening when you remove the airbag. In order to remove the airbag, you do need to push in on this little lever, and when we're putting it back together, he shows what exactly that lever is doing when you're pushing it, and it helps understand what you're trying to do to remove the airbag. The other part is that anytime you disconnect the battery, I was not aware of this, apparently you have to reset the windows, the automatic windows, otherwise they won't work to go automatically all the way up or automatically all the way down. And it's a real simple process, but I don't think I had ever heard of it or knew that you have to do something like this every time you disconnect the battery. So that's actually going to be something really good to know. For this modification or for anybody who's ever disconnecting their battery. So without any further ado, we're going to go into the installation video, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to put in some commentary at the end with some of my impressions and just kind of showing how everything works. And I want to say another little bit of commentary on the control module, which you saw in the previous part of the video that has the number. Want to get into that a little bit more. But anyways, without any further ado, here comes the video. All right, so I'm at my buddy's house and we're gonna get started on this multifunction control modification. So the first thing we're gonna do as part of the process is we're going to disconnect the battery terminal. So, or we're going to disconnect the battery, and from there we will go on to the next step. And in case you're wondering, we use a 10mm socket here to disconnect the battery. Okay, so what do we got going here?
This hole here?
Yep.
You stick like an Allen key in here.
Okay.
And there's a lever, and it pushes on and releases the airbag.
All right.
So you just gotta find it. Kind of.
All right, looks like we're making progress here. So that's the, we're trying to pop the airbag off first. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, here it comes, popping out, and
there you go.
So
now we just let it sit.
You just let it sit?
Yeah.
Why do we let it sit?
You don't want the airbag to go off, right?
Okay, right.
So you just let it sit since we disconnected the battery for about 10 minutes.
Okay, okay.
Just in case.
All right. Okay, so here's the wiring harness up close, and
so these two are your airbag.
Okay.
Goes to your airbag. This goes to the main connector inside the steering wheel, and you got ground, horn, and these are for some type of multifunction. Also ground, another ground here.
Okay.
Yep.
And so there's a possibility we won't even need this, but if we have it,
just
we
in
need
case.
it,
Yeah, I don't think you'll need it, but you never know.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Thanks.
Been about enough time, so we're gonna try to pop these guys off. So you just should be able to lift this up. I think this kind of pops out. Let's see.
This is much better than me trying to do it and hold the camera at the same time. So those things just lift up.
Yep, they lift up, and then you'll be able to pry it
that
out.
just doesn't go off in your hand.
I hope not.
All right. All right, so this is what it looks like with the airbag off. Here's the airbag. You see the different plugs for the harness. Hopefully we won't need the other one, but if we need it, we got it. All right, so we need a triple square. I've never actually even heard of that.
12 millimeter.
12 millimeter?
Yeah, so
and it goes in there. All right, cool. Is there a torque specification on that when you're tightening it back up?
Just use a big effing wrench.
A big effing wrench, okay. So the F setting on the torque wrench. All right. All right.
Not too tight, so you don't have to.
Well, I've been known to use gorilla strength when I'm tightening stuff, so it's good to
Remember,
see.
you might have to take it off one day, so.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't want to be
true.
stuck.
All right. There you go. That's the part that comes out. That's what's holding the wheel on. Now, is the wheel just going to slide right off, or do we have to?
We might have to finagle it.
Okay.
Sometimes we get lucky and it slides right off.
All right.
There you go. So if you look,
Yeah.
there's a line there
Mm-hmm.
and a indexing mark. So that's where you line it back up.
Okay. Okay. Good. Thanks for pointing that out. Oh, slides
There you
right
go.
off. Look at that. All right. Next step. And here is the back side, which we're going to remove so that we can start to put in the new pieces. And there we have it.
This just pops off.
Nice and easy when you know what you're doing. Is that connected to something?
It might be. There's a little tab in here.
All right. Cool. All right, look, so it looks like we're gonna remove the Sport Chrono controller. And then pop off the other parts there in the back.
You got it.
And I have the new ones that go there because they're different since they have to accommodate the multifunction controls. And thanks to my friend here, I knew to ask for those, otherwise we'd be having an incomplete installation today.
A lot of people.
Alright, so we're continuing to disassemble the steering wheel here so that we could have access to the inserts, and then we'll be popping in all the new stuff.
Let's see what else we got. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these we're not going to reuse.
Yes, correct. So those are the ones that will not fit with the new
fit.
multifunction control.
No, sir.
But you could customize them,
You
right?
could cut them, but
it's better
to
just
get the originals.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Super easy to pop that thing off.
There you go.
Nice. All right. Alright, so I've got the silver inserts out. You can see my whole little collection of inserts and controllers here. And here's my original, whatever you want to call this part of the steering wheel. And then we're going to pop in the multifunction controls that you see here. And just pop them into these. It's going to look really cool being all blacked out. I'm excited about that. And just so happens that my friend here who's helping has the same exact setup in his car, so to be continued.
So get the black box and unplug this Sport Chrono because we are not going to use it.
That's right. Remember, that's for the PDK, and mine is different.
Unplug this black wire and this white wire. Then we're going to swap it with this black box. So,
all right.
this is the old to the new.
What is the number on my controller? Does it?
We'll take a look. I think it's the same. It's just programming. It's going to be different.
It should be like 95B.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably will have to have this thing programmed then.
It's possible, but being that this one was already programmed to those controls, you might get lucky.
All right.
So we'll see.
Cross our fingers.
Yep.
To put these new pieces in. Oh, that looks nice already. And actually this is the easy part, which is why my friend is letting me do it. Looks nice. Alright, so the part that I thought was going to be easy was actually tricky for me, and thankfully my friend here was able to assist me. But what you want to make sure when you're tightening these screws back down is that you want to make sure that the wires are routed the way you see here, and just maybe pay close attention when you're disassembling it that you get the wires routed properly, because without that it might not go back together the way you want. But very important, make sure those wires are routed. They go underneath those little plastic tabs, and I had to take it apart a couple times to make sure, or because I didn't get it right the first time. Alright, so now what?
Now we put it all back together.
Now we put it all back together. Alright. So here we are putting it all back together, and we used the new controller.
There you go. That's what it's going to look like.
Nice, very nice.
There you go.
And that's it.
Just goes.
So that little control module actually has a little place where it sits, so it's not flopping around in your steering wheel.
You got it. That is how it goes. Cool.
Awesome.
So pop this in here. Pop in these guys.
Nice.
There you go. I'm gonna screw some stuff back together.
Just a few final screws here to get this put back together. Then we pop on that back piece and then slide it all back together inside the car. And if we're really lucky, it's just gonna work beautifully. If not, we'll ship to the dealer. Alright, so here's the finished product right before we put it back on. Everything's nice and snug and tight. Looks super awesome with the all black controllers, and you can see the 2 airbag plugs there that we saw before. And this should hopefully just pop in and let's see how it goes.
Yep.
Alright. Let's get it going.
So in case you might want to film this.
Sure. So what we're going to look at here is that if you recall the part when we were trying to take the airbag off,
So
there's
these holes here.
Right.
And what you're trying to do, if you look in there, you might see a bar.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So what you want to do, and you're playing blind, is you're pushing on that bar to release the post that the airbag sits on.
Okay, well that helps make it clear like what you're trying to accomplish when you're sticking a tool in there. Okay, great. Thank you for showing that.
So that's the bar, and that's what you're trying to release it off of.
I see. So
when it goes in that hole,
it clips onto
pop
it.
it off, and then it'll pop out. You gotta do both sides.
Right. And you have to line up that mark.
Yep. There you go. All right. That should be it.
We use the F torque setting.
That should be good.
It's good. It won't fall off while I'm driving that way.
Well, it'll be all right. Just plug in the airbag, and they're color coded. So this one goes to this switch.
Okay. The brown color.
It won't plug in the other way, but the yellow will plug in. So you want to make sure you have it right. So the yellow will plug into the brown, but because it doesn't have that tab there, the brown will not plug into the yellow. But you want to make sure you do it right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yellow, doesn't matter which one goes in which first.
And it only can go in one direction?
You got it. Let's see.
I guess, oh, there you go. So that's, you want to make sure you can click that thing in once it's seated properly. All right. And
then that snaps back in.
It just snaps in.
But I'm not going to put it in yet. I want to try it in case we need to check it out.
Okay. All right. So before we reconnect the battery, I'm being told we close the door. So why do we close the door?
Just because if you have the door open, the light will be on.
Okay.
When you connect the battery, you might get a little spark. So
we
you'll
don't
still
want
probably
sparks.
get a spark anyways, but
okay.
Better to not have a bigger spark than a smaller one. Just connect it. See? There's your spark.
That's the spark. All right, here we go. We're gonna give it a shot.
I would start it up.
Start it up. All right.
Make sure you don't have any lights on.
GPS connected.
All right. What, I'm sorry, what did you
No
say?
lights on the dash?
No lights on the dash.
That works.
Wait, did it work? Whoa!
Favorite parts is when special guest
Hold on, let's here, I'll take the camera. Why don't you give me a call and see if I can answer the phone? You have your phone on you? Alright, let's see if this thing works.
Honestly, she has her dad's voice. She's amazing. Guys, we have so much to talk about. Join me on Mondays, the Hoda Show on Today's Show.
Alright, we're gonna answer this call. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, we're golden. We are
Is it
gold.
working?
Absolutely. Yes.
There you go.
All right. Mission accomplished. Okay, so there's something else that needs to be done when you disconnect the battery. Is it every time you disconnect the battery? Okay, so apparently you lose the function of the full auto up of the window and down. And indeed, that was the case, because if you look, when I go to it, it doesn't go all the way like it normally does. So there's a way to do it. And then how is it now? I pull it all the way up?
All the way up.
Pull it all the way up. And I hold it.
Release.
Release.
And then pull it up again
Pull it up again.
for 3 seconds. Let go.
3. Let go.
Push it all the way down.
Push it all the way down.
Let go.
Let go.
Push it down again for 3 seconds.
1, 2, 3.
That's it.
And now it should. Yep. And now does that also factor in the whole part about it cracking open a little
Yep.
bit when you open and close the door? Okay.
If you don't do that when you go to open your door, it won't crack.
Okay.
And it'll get caught on the little weather strip stuff.
All right. Super good information to know. This video is going to be helpful to a lot of people, I'm sure. Thank you very much. All right, so final impressions. I've had a chance to drive around a little bit with this, and I have to reiterate, I'm really happy with this modification, especially having a manual transmission vehicle. I think this is something that should be equipped with every manual transmission. Even if it wasn't manual transmission, just to be able to not have to look over to answer the phone when a call is coming in and touch the screen or touch your phone, just to be able to answer it and disconnect right from the steering wheel right here. Here's just to show you how this works. The wheel on the right will toggle through all of the different menus, and if you say you click into something like this and you want to click, before you would use a little stalk here, which incidentally is remains. So you now have 2 ways of doing multifunction control. But before you would press in on the stalk, press forward. Now what you do is you simply press the wheel, and then you can toggle up and down. And if you want to go back to the original screen, you hit the back button here. On the left, you have the button to answer the phone. It also, if you have a call coming in and you're on a call, you can press it again, and that will switch over. Here's the volume control for the radio, and you could hear. Little Rage Against the Machine for your morning. And then this button here, they call it the Joker button or the wild card button. I guess you're supposed to be able to program it, but I haven't been able to figure out how to do it. But what it does do is it will always bring you back to this setting of the screen. So say for instance I'm on the map view there. If I push this button, it brings you back to the gauge setting, which I think is great. For me, that works perfectly. I probably wouldn't change the function of this diamond button. Now, the thing that I want to talk about for a moment is this guy right here. This is my original steering control module that was in my vehicle. I think it's really important to point out, and by the way, I'm putting it up close so you can see the number. It's 95B.959.256.F. Yours may be different, but I will tell you this. From what we were able to determine yesterday, the reason we did not have to take
this to a dealer to get it reprogrammed was because the parts that I purchased off of eBay contained both the controls and the control module that corresponded to those controls. My buddy, who I believe had purchased a control module separately from the controls, since it wasn't originally paired up to function with multifunction controls, he had to get it done at the dealer. And you know, you can expect that to be at least you know, an hour's worth of work and another couple $100 in labor charges if you were to do it. So I think what saved us was having the control module that corresponded to the multifunction controls. You can purchase this control module, but I don't know if you can purchase a control module that's already programmed for multifunction control. That is something that has to be done by the dealer. So anyways, I'm going to hang on to this for obvious reasons. That being, if anyone ever, I don't ever plan on getting rid of this car, but if I were to and somebody wanted to bring the car back to original factory spec, they would have that. And that's about it. Just wanted to share that with you. This turned out to be a real simple modification. The tricky part is finding the parts that fit and correspond to your vehicle. Just be real careful when you're looking for the parts, and make sure that also that whatever steering control parts that you get come off of a car that if happens to have sport chrono, then if you have sport chrono, then you want to make sure that the steering wheel controls came off of a wheel that had sport chrono. As it turns out, it doesn't matter if it's manual or PDK, because it still works. You could see the dial here still works, and everything functions as is. So it doesn't matter if it comes from a PDK or manual, but I believe it does matter if the car has sport chrono. And again, just make sure that it comes with a control module that corresponds to those controls. Otherwise, you'll be taking it to a dealer to have it programmed. So that's about it, folks. Really happy with how this came out. If you like this, please be sure to hit like, comment, subscribe. Just would love to hear any feedback that you have on this video, as well as any ideas for future videos. So take care, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.